And so I started journaling on Renlist and M3 Post, right, the two car forums, and what because I saw this one guy had made a journal of like all the things that he did when he got the car, and so I said I can do probably do a really good job at that, and so I started just writing out, taking great photos, and writing descriptions of all the things I did. What's my washing process? What when I got a radar detector, here's the radar detector install, changing the oil for the first time, doing different exhaust swap to try to find the exhaust that I liked the most. And then somebody in the Ren list said, it'd be better if you made a video of the wash process. And I said, well, this Canon camera I have also does video. And so I set the camera up and I just started talking to it. And what I didn't realize is I was one of the world's authorities on how to wash a car. I had no idea. I just thought everybody knew how to do it this way. I also learned that because I had a really good job, I could buy a lot of things and try them. And I loved shopping for things and the trial and error of things. Because I had a good job, I could throw it away or give it away when I found something that I thought was going to be good that wasn't very good. So I had a lot of product experience that I just assumed that everybody else had. And so I came to this epiphany that man, I could stand in front of a camera for like an hour straight and talk about the virtues of this particular surfactant in this soap, you know, and why the detergents made the surfactant work. I was talking about all this nerdy crap. And I'm using this German pressure washer with American fittings and a Swiss gun, and I'd modified it just like we modify our cars. So everything in my life was modified in particular and chosen after trial and error of dozens of things. And so the YouTube channel became the thing instead of the journal. And so then I just started making videos. And it was therapy for me. There was no grand plan. It was a way for me to let people in, get out of my own head. I was probably the third person. There was chemical guys. There was Larry Cosilla, Ammo NYC, and the Junk Man, and I was like the fourth detailer type guy, car washing guy on YouTube. And so, in 2014, it changed my life to let others in and start talking about the things that I was passionate about. And so then that, one thing led to another. Next thing I know, I'm, making some t-shirts and sold a bunch of t-shirts. And then next thing I know, I made a website just because I was really annoyed with people wanted me to put lists of all the products with links in the description. I'm like, I got a job, man. I don't got time for that. I'm really just making these videos as a form of therapy. But I was saying what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, whether it was offensive or not, whether I was going to get canceled. There was no canceling back then. That's a new thing. It was just, I was just doing me in my way. And a lot of people tended to resonate with it. So I had 5,000 people following and then 10,000 people. I'm like, well, this is crazy. I went from introversion in my garage in Podunk, Florida to having 10,000 people listen to what I have to say. And so people started making this connection like he doesn't have it because I got a GT3 and then I got an FE80 M3. And then one of the things that really kind of put me on the map is when the 991 GT3 came out, I didn't buy that you would just take a 997 exhaust and put it on it. I wanted an exhaust. And so I did 15 different exhaust trials and I shared all of that. I went to the dyno and just did my engineering nerd thing and shared that with people. And that resonated with a lot of Porsche guys. And then when I got a GT350, whatever I did with that, it resonated with them. And when I got, different cars, a Raptor and things like that, it resonated with a new audience. And so I thought about a year in, I'm like, man, I was doing golf lessons. I was hosting golf lessons with a golf pro at Merrill Lynch in a suit. I don't play golf. I was hosting wine tastings with a sommelier or whatever those guys are called, and I don't drink. And so here I am faking it to get clients when, man, I could just like
You do what you
probably get these
love.
car guys. I could get these car guys to become clients because I don't know if you know how the finance business works. You don't get clients. They don't give you them. You got to go find them. You got to make relationships and convince people to let you manage their life savings, which is not
Of
easy to
course. And
do.
then you got to make sure that you tell them about the two buckets. You got this bucket where you put this money and this bucket where you put this. Every finance
All
guy
this,
I've ever talked to, I'm like, dude, if you talk about the motherfucking buckets one more time, I'm going to put the
but see,
buckets on your
I
fucking
was the
head.
guy. So I was the guy that you guys would have wanted managing your money. One, because I'm the Matchbox psychopath, right? So I'm
Yeah.
the guy you want in charge of your money. I was also the guy because we would have had a lot in common. So I thought that the Obsessed Garage thing that I eventually called it was just a conduit for me to not have to do golf lessons anymore. I could get clients that I had a lot in common with rather than just people who were retired that like to golf, that I don't like either one of those. I don't plan on retiring ever, and I don't play golf. And so what happened eventually, and so 2014 started the channel, 15 just started to figure out that this could be my connection to get clients. um, Merrill Lynch started to catch on to the videos because well, Taylor Swift's dad works for Merrill Lynch, and so he was the number one searched Merrill Lynch advisor, and I was number two. And so people started to figure out, like, if this guy's always talking about wax this much, what does he do for a living? Because there's no way he's buying a GT3 and an M3 if he's just a car washer, right? And so
It
people started to try to figure out who I was.
probably
And so then,
lent some credibility, when people are looking at that and they're like, oh, this guy's a successful, intelligent guy. It's just not some
that was what my hope
random dude,
was. Correct. And so people would search out, who's Matt Moreman, right? Who is this guy? What is he about? And so I built the website, obsessedgarage.com, and a buddy from church made the logo, and whatever the logo is. And I hope he doesn't sue me someday because I never got an NDA on it. But this logo I think might be worth something someday. And so I made the website mainly just to put links to things so I didn't have to put it in the description of the videos, because I didn't think I wasn't going to sell anything. I wasn't going to retail products. I wasn't going to be designing garages. I had nothing to do with it. I was just going to get clients in wealth management. And this was a way for me to just share what I'm passionate about. Well, I, I set up an Amazon payments account for something, and Amazon shut my account down. It like triggered some sort of automatic fraud thing. And we all had our Amazon account since like 99. I got a 20-year-old, 16-year-old Amazon account. And I had started to do the affiliate link thing, like all of us douchebag, influencers do, right? And so I was making, like, I don't know, $1,200 a month from these links that I had sent out and put on videos and things like that. And so when Amazon account shut my account down, and I realized how annoying it was to try to buy this crazy German pressure washer that I was using, because I had to send 12 links to people to all these different parts and pieces. And I was getting emails all day, not about wealth management, but what quick disconnect do I need to put my foam cannon on my pressure washer. So just out of pure annoyance, being annoyed, I decided to build this website so that I could just make it easy for people. And then when they shut my Amazon account down and I lost that $1,200, I said, man, I'm kind of building this house on somebody else's land. And so I decided to call the pressure washer company and the gun company and the quick disconnect company and try to convince them to let me buy them wholesale. And I was taping fittings in my living room. Now, keep in mind, I'm like a pretty successful finance guy. I'm making lots of money, and I'm in my living room taping fittings, packing boxes in my darn kitchen. And so I called my parents a few weeks later and asked them if maybe they would consider doing that for me. But before I launched the pressure washer, I thought I'd just sell it to the Renless guys, a couple Renless guys. So I reserved 15 pressure washers, 15 guns, 15 sets of disconnects. And I posted 13 videos on YouTube at the same time. Now I had about 70,000 subscribers. So I just posted every piece of the pressure washer in a separate 3-minute video. And so I had 5,000 subscribers unsubscribe that day. I'm like, oh, shoot, I kind of messed up. But the next morning I woke up and I had like 200 emails on my inbox saying, I'm ready to buy that pressure washer. By the way, it was $1,600 for the Krenzel pressure washer. That first month I sold 50 grand. The next month I sold 60 grand. The next month I sold 80 grand. I didn't even have the darn things yet.
Very successful guy. And you're in the garage, like after hours playing on YouTube. Like it's just a simple way of putting it. I mean, that's not the reality of it, but
My wife is so chill that she probably didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. But there were a few times where, like, I can't go on vacation. I've got like stuff to do. Or I'd be traveling around to like McGuire's, or I'd be going to SEMA for a week. And I'd be, talking to the market would be down 300 points. I'd be walking through SEMA, talking somebody off the ledge, kind of thing. And she would be like, what are you doing here? And I just said, man, I feel like, forgive the arrogance of this, but at one point early in my life, I said, like, I feel like I'm destined for something great. Am I supposed to become the CEO of Merrill Lynch someday? Like, I just felt like I was always the young guy outperforming the older guys, and I had just had something about like my life that felt, and what I know now is I was an entrepreneur. I had no idea what that meant. I had no modeling of that. I had no one in my family was an entrepreneur. I had no idea. I didn't know even at well-educated 20 something, still wasn't sure what I was on to, but I just knew that there was something there that was connecting me to the world by using YouTube as therapy. There was something interesting about it that I just couldn't put my finger on. But it's funny you mentioned that. Did your or anybody thinking you're crazy? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, everybody was. What are you doing? You got this great career. What is going on? Was having to be on the phone all the time telling people my life story. And so I made a video series called This Is Me. And so I said, this is my story. It was like 9 episodes of the same thing I'm telling you, just longer form. And so the Merrill Lynch people started watching the This Is Me series, and then they wanted to edit it.
Mm.
And so, like, you can't say this, you can't say that. You're giving away trade secrets. I talked about cold calling, and I talked about building a mailing list and a retirement newsletter, and that's how I got customers and how I was relentless with that. And I found that me sharing that was really sort of a testimony for young men, other young men that were watching me, to like show, here's an example of how you get a GT3. And so they were censoring me, wanted me to take a bunch of stuff down. And so I left Merrill Lynch and I went to Raymond James. And so I took my practice there, and I was going to call it Obsessed Wealth Management. Well, fast forward a bit, all the clients from clients that I found, like, they didn't give them to me. And I brought them all with me from Merrill Lynch. And so I'm making, just, you can do the math, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And they just fired me. And I decided I was going to go all in.